Get in the gate. This is episode 122. We are talking Stargate SG-1. The full Get Into Gate team is here. My name is Mitch. Joining me, Matty,
Yo.
Brendan,
hello,
and Rhys.
G'day, guys.
Rhys is our first-time viewer. The rest of us are veteran Stargate SG-1 fans. We're here to introduce Rhys to an episode each and every week, each and every podcast, see what he thinks is a first-timer while we all take a bit of a nostalgic look at the episode. Here we are, Season 6, Episode 11, Prometheus. Let's jump into the synopsis, see how it reads, and then throw it over to Rhys and see what he thought. Rogue NSA officers hijack the top-secret X-303 spaceship with Carter and Jonas on board and demand that Adrian Conrad be brought to the ship. Using his Goa'uld knowledge, Conrad activates the X-303 and takes the ship light years from Earth as O'Neill and Teal'c stage a daring rescue, not knowing if they will be able to return home. That pretty much isn't a synopsis. That is a full-on
disclosure
read and disclosure of the episode. But Rhys,
that's what we want.
a lot of moving parts in this, Rhys. How'd you go?
Yeah, look, the thing I was most disappointed about was that that reporter, Hammond, didn't run her over with his car.
Yes, so true.
That's what happened with the last reporter. But no, she even had bloody...
No, invite her in instead.
Yeah, that's... I was like, why would you... And then Jack, the master of all, says, this is an insanely bad idea. No, it's already been decided. And then they let him in, and I'm like... First thing I thought was, didn't they screen these guys?
Yeah.
I know that Jack brought it up with Davis later on, but, I mean, come on. It was a bit over the top.
Well, this time around, I didn't realise, where did those camera guys come from? They obviously came on before or after, because in the lift, when the two journos rocked up, there's only the four of them in there, Carter, Jonas, and the two reporters. So I was like, where did those guys come from? Surely they would have been screened much earlier if it was just them. Have you got a gun on you? Nah.
Yeah. Surely they would have
I got
checked
a Zat, though.
Zat.
Didn't we establish we can detect Naquita now or something?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's right. Carter's... Or
then again, maybe...
Jolinar? Surely
Maybe
Jolinar could have done something.
I think it was just a quadria tracker.
Maybe it interfered with... Yeah, maybe just that tiny little signal wasn't enough to set off any detectors because
that was
the
annoying.
entire spaceship is built of it.
Yeah.
I don't have many notes here. I've just written my first is Rhys, spaceship, go.
Yeah, pretty hectic.
I mean, I like it because it's got the Prometheus, but everything else is kind of really frustrating when you start to watch and think about it.
Yeah. It pissed me off because I'm like they were so quick to tap her phones and follow her everywhere, and yet when Jack come up to Davis and started going off at him and said, weren't these people screened? And they're like, yeah, they must have been in there for over a year, to fool the system or whatever he said.
Major Davis! What the hell happened? Approximately 0900 this morning, the X-303 was put into lockdown mode. At 0920, we received a communication from someone inside the ship informing us that they had destabilized the hyperdrive. They're threatening to blow it. I don't believe it. I do not believe this. We're getting energy readings that confirm an overload building in the ship's generator. This is supposedly the most secure facility on the face of the planet. We think it was the camera crew, sir. Did anyone bother with a background check? Yes, sir, and they were clean. Their cameraman was a decorated Marine in Somalia. Every member of that crew has been at the network for well over a year, sir. This plan has obviously been in the works for some time. What?
Sir, we're receiving a transmission. It's from the hijackers.
What?
Patch it through.
Oh, well, if it's Somalia, then go right ahead. What could happen?
I think Marine was the more important thing there.
Yeah.
So,
But I do love the way that. I do love the way that that poor little whoever she was, the assistant, whatever she was. What?
Yeah, while you
Over
ever...
her mouth, she just hovers near them. What?
Yeah.
You're in our arguing
I
space.
liked it how to me it was like Jack said, what the hell happened was fairly rhetorical. But Davis has gone, give him a full brief. Yeah. He's like, I know I'm getting hammered.
I know, that's why I'm here.
I know, I'll just answer your question. I don't know.
It's almost like he's arguing back, but he's telling him everything about it. It's like, this is weird. Yeah. But
See,
I love it. I
I
remember that scene out of everything in this episode.
That was epic. What I didn't understand was when he goes, they've been on the books for over a year. Obviously, they've been building this X-303 for...
Yeah, he's just emailed in.
For over a year then. Or how long since the X-202 blew up? Obviously...
Tangent. Oh, no, that was the glider that they used.
No, start of this season, Redemption.
Yeah.
That's right.
So he's saying that there's been over a year between that episode and this one?
I think it was the whole idea of Adrian Conrad. Was a year. They've been waiting for a year because they've got the ability to use. They just needed a vessel to get out of there. They have the knowledge.
You kind of got
right. So the plan that's been in the works, as you said, wasn't necessarily with the X303 then.
No, I think so. I think you've got to backtrack the plan. So the plan was the NID has been feeding stuff, like feeding information to the reporter, so that she would ask questions, and then they've been paying off her boss so that her boss would suggest, "Oh, well, let us film an interview, blah blah blah, that you guys will own," and that gives them access. To then be able to do something, and I guess in this case it was game.
What a flimsy plan,
right?
Yeah, especially like the boss of the newspaper's like, "How about you let us in to do an exclusive?" I don't know, and she's like, "Nah." All right then. Yeah. And then he's like, "You're paying me a lot." Yet the whole threat to let them go was, "We're going to blow this ship up, so we'll all be dead."
Yeah.
So you either like 70% chance you're going to die if you pull the trigger. 30% chance you get a lot of money, and then you leave Earth so you can't spend it anyway. So money's useless to you.
Yeah.
I don't think
he didn't know the
knew
plan.
any of that. I don't
Obviously,
I don't think he knew the Prometheus existed or anything like that.
What did he think was going to happen?
I think he was just being paid to float that plan so that they could gain access to the SGC.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
To
and their
whatever
ultimate
Prometheus was.
Their ultimate plan was to find that long lost planet, right? When she goes, "Oh, there used to be a planet here."
Yeah. So
there's an ancient tablet telling of a planet with weapons and tech from the ancients, right?
Yeah.
And then they sort of just like, "Oh," and then went on. I'm like, that Anubis got that planet.
No, I think the whole idea was that Carter said, I think everyone over calculated what the Nequadria would do, so we're off course.
Oh, I thought there was that, but I think she also suggested that Conrad was working his own game, so they all thought Conrad was going to lead them to that planet, but Conrad set a different course because he's a Goa'uld and he's going to betray them.
That too.
Right.
But in saying that, she couldn't find where they were in the galaxy either until the Asgard rocked up.
Yeah, but when that chick goes, "Oh, these are the coordinates. There's supposed to be a planet here."
How does she know the coordinates if they were lost?
That's true.
I'm not the writer, mate.
She assumes that's where there should be a planet here.
Yeah.
She obviously didn't know.
Or they mistranslated the tablet.
Yeah.
And think they know how to read ancient, but they don't. It's very convoluted. There's a lot going on. And the hard thing too is like there's so many hard truths. Like there's that part when Carter's first taking the reporter team like through the ship, and it's like they're like, "Oh, literally they were little green men," and she's like, "Actually, they're grey." So it's like she's telling that part's the truth, but then that whole other sub story about a ship that crashed in Westlake, Alaska in 1978 was all made up. So it's like you can't be doing the ironing or doing the dishes or anything like that. Like while you're watching this episode, you've really got to be like laser focused.
Yeah.
And then know what is truth and then what is
and
cover
it's not
story.
very
But then why was she telling them part of the truth? Like, yes, we've got a spaceship, but why tell them that aliens exist? What's the point of that? Yes, they're going to film it, and you're going to take charge of the film and then destroy it. Great, but like, she's still going to go to the tabloids. Like, she could have one of those cameras on a pen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like hidden cameras, they all could have had one.
Well, yeah, they did talk about the crystal technology. So I think that was her. Rather than tell them about the Goa'uld and this imminent threat of the Goa'uld that's trying to kill us, it's like, oh yeah, a spaceship crashed and it had like crystal technology, so we've reverse engineered that.
Yeah, and don't forget, Jonas also said, obviously these sublight engines won't get us to interstellar travel, but that's what the hyperdrive's for. And I'm like, why did you even bother telling them about the hyperdrive?
Yeah.
Just say we're trying to get to Neptune.
Just say it's planetary defense, or you just we want to be able to cruise our.
We want to go the whole solar system.
It's a new space station.
Yeah,
like
because it says we'll get into orbit in 6 seconds or whatever it is. And it's like, well, that makes a huge difference. You know, being able to go to the moon and
I reckon
go to Mars.
That's a good enough motive for me to be like, they built this whole thing, new technology, whatever. They don't need to tell them how they got it. You know, it's like. Yeah. We gave you Google Maps 10 years ago. What do you think we've got?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's that kind of explanation. And that, for me, is a good motive just to cruise around our solar system. You don't need to tell them about interstellar travel. Well, that's ludicrous.
When I was working for a telecommunications company years ago, the Army was using 5G. And then now they're like, oh, okay, 5G's coming out. People are like, oh, you know, this is the next best thing. I'm like, hey, the Army's already got 6G.
Yeah.
That's why you're getting 5G now.
They're on 8G now.
Yeah, they're killing it.
Yeah. I do. I have to say though, like I think this is another one. I think I said a few weeks ago as well. This is another one of those things where I don't think we would have the Prometheus if Daniel was still here. I think this is one of those things where it's like,
how so?
Well, I wonder that if Daniel had stayed, would the writers still be relying on the Jack-Daniel dynamic and wouldn't think, hey, let's go from the little X301 and 302 that were little gliders to a giant spaceship that we can
Yeah,
just,
it is
like,
a big leap to
take
think
through.
of X301 to X303 as this. Wouldn't
Yeah,
you
well,
change it to a Z? Like a Z series?
Literally, like... Well,
Like, how big do you think you're going? Yeah. This isn't even that big of a step.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was literally like 10, 11 episodes ago we were introduced to the X302. And now it's... I mean, they did
At the
mention...
start of the season,
They did mention the 303.
Yeah, but you're thinking,
little
it's going to be
hint.
like a cool super glider or a...
Yeah, it'd be an
Pelt
Alcash or something.
Yeah.
No, it's a giant fucking spaceship.
Yeah.
So I do like the fact that it's... I think, they're like, okay, we need to up the game here a bit and start doing things differently because we're stuck with fucking Jonas. So it's like... And it really does open up what they can do in terms of storytelling.
Yeah.
Which I think is super interesting.
Yeah, I'm not sure. To me, like... I'm not a huge fan of the Prometheus as a ship. I think for me it's like a giant tugboat. It's like dong 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 as it's cruising through this ocean. You're like, what a piece of shit
Like,
is
I
it?
love
Like,
it
it's
and I
incomplete.
hate it at the same time. Like,
Yeah, it
I
looks
love-
like shit.
well, I love
Oh, the first note that I've got written down here for the entire episode, and I was like writing it down. Actually, it was the first note I wanted to write, but I waited until the end because I'm like, I better write it down. I'm sure it's going to piss off, Brennan and Maddie because they're big fans of the show like I am. But X303 is an ugly ass ship,
Yeah.
but it is. It's like, especially like when we go on to see other ships or the other ships that we have seen, the Asgard ships that we've seen. Okay, they're a lot more advanced, but really, like, this was the next step, is that we make this boxy, like, cock and ball shape.
well, yeah, I love
what the
I
hell?
like that bit.
I love
but-
the limp ends, like,
Yeah.
Love
I love
the shape of it.
I love the interior of it because it looks like it was built by the United States military.
Yeah,
It's
that's
kind of
cool.
got that
It's kind of SGC style.
Yeah, it's like submarine-y. And then from the outside, it's like it almost looks like it could be an aircraft carrier, which I kind of like. But it's the weird part is in like that main sort of like the tall bit,
the tower.
the little arms that come around on the tower. They're the things that I don't understand. There's these just like halfway up the tower, there's these
Like a
two little
wings are meant to
L-shaped
be.
things.
Aerodynamics.
And it's like, what are they
And then
there
the name
for?
of it just from a spray can.
Yeah, they slapped a
X303.
US Air Force sticker on it.
USA,
I like
yeah.
that bit. That was a good throwback.
But
Yeah, but I just genuinely do not like that ship. It was cool when I saw it at the time, but the sound effect is bad. I think it's the sound effect for me that gives it away.
see, I like the sound
know.
effect. It makes it sound badass. Like,
It sounds like
Yeah.
it's going to just putter away like a tugboat.
I loved it because it was obviously it was huge. It was bigger than anything the humans have ever built before.
Yeah.
In regards to space travel. So yeah, I don't think I'd look into it that much other than the spray can on the side putting the the name of it on. And then when it came out from the ground and you just saw how big it was.
Yeah, that was cool.
I was
like a
like,
whole building.
holy shit.
to get
Yeah.
it from almost the perspective of three people that were standing there. It was
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
like X303 were like 3 stories higher than
Yeah.
as each as they rose above them. Like,
Yeah.
that did look very.
it's
cool.
got to be, I reckon there's got to be at least about 15 decks running through that. I mean, most of it is obviously that tall tower at the top, and there's maybe 5 or 6 decks of like the main kind of
Yeah.
shaft.
Say shaft again.
Say Dex and Shaft in the same sentence, mate. Come on.
Still
What
to this
podcast
day,
do you think you're on?
Yeah.
I still
You
don't
went
know
deep
though.
several hundred feet there.
Yeah, I still don't know where the bridge is though. Like you'd assume it'd be like a ship,
At
it'd
the
be
top.
at the top of the little sort of tower right at the back. But then it's like when Carter, that might be next week's episode. I might not give that away. Forget. She says
Curious.
she just says it's like Carter's on the bridge and she says, "Sir, you better come forward." When he's like down in the decks and stuff, she's like, "Oh, you better come forward," meaning you better come to the bridge.
Like it's
So
at the
is it at the
nose.
front, or is it at the nose, or is it up the top? It'd make sense for it to be up the top if it was designed to be like an aircraft carrier. But it's
Yeah.
also a spaceship, so it could be on that little sort of fronty nose bit. But you don't.
Yeah, and is it a window or is it a view screen?
It's a window. It's definitely a window. But I've never been able to find that window on any pictures of the Prometheus, like to line it up. To go, okay,
Yeah, right.
that particular window is the bridge
They
window.
never do like an external to internal shot like they did on Chlorel's Hatak or anything.
They do, but it's always like a side window. like that little
Oh,
multi-purpose
yeah,
room.
that's right.
Yeah, they never do it to the bridge, which
Yeah.
sucks. Star Trek did it though.
They can't.
That one, mate. Jeez.
Discovery. Oh,
No, Voyager. Of course, Voyager.
Oh, that's 2. Walked right into that,
That
one.
wasn't 2. Come on.
well, you live by the sword, you die by the sword.
So when they went and got Simmons and bloody Goa'uld guy,
Adrian Conrad, one of the great Goa'ulds.
and they let the f***ing Goa'uld onto the ship,
Oh, God.
whatever happened to we don't negotiate with terrorists?
No, we just let him steal our shit.
Yeah.
Like we'll let a Goa'uld on the ship? Why?
Yeah.
Otherwise they'll blow up our base in the middle of nowhere?
Yeah.
I don't get it. Like, obviously they're going to take off
Oh,
in the
not
ship.
Nevada.
You just left you
it's
you're
like
two
a-
prisoners, you're two high class prisoners that are on f***ing death row. You
Yeah.
just let into. Oh yeah, here, have the
Go
ship.
on.
Yeah.
Go into space if you want.
He's
We'll
like,
open
I'm
the
gonna
door
count
for
to
you.
3. It's like,
That weird scene in the
Better
van.
open the door. Get angry.
I'm not going to slow down time. It's not going to get to 2 and then go
1.5.
2.5.
That weird scene in
Didn't
the
open
van with Simmons and Davis, and Simmons is like, yes, I'll put myself in danger to resolve this situation
Yeah.
for you. It's
Yeah.
like, no, mate, they want you. You were one of their terms. It's like you and Conrad are their
Yeah.
terms.
Yeah.
You're obviously working with them.
Yeah.
So it's like, why would they fall for that? Yeah, I didn't quite understand. And then it's like, we've got this giant brand new ship that's not even finished yet that we've reverse engineered from Goa'uld technology,
Yeah.
and we're going to let the only Goa'uld on the planet inside it.
What I didn't understand is what. Yeah, okay, bring them to the site, but don't let them underground or in the ship. Just say, all right, they're here. If you blow it up, they die as well.
Yeah. Boom.
Done.
Sorted.
So
Mate,
turn it off, please.
you should get a job.
Go
on
to bed.
You should get a job on SG9.
And I'm new Major Davis. Like, everything about it was just stupid. Like, obviously, I don't know. Like, is there someone in?
The circumstances, you mean?
Well, no, just the decisions. Oh yeah, let the media go in and okay.
Run them over with a car.
Yeah, okay. Put the Goa'uld in. That's fine. Well, it'll be fine. SG1 will get us out of it.
Yeah.
That was what, actually, you know what I was hoping is when they're like, oh, Carter's decided to play hero, and then Carter took out, like, she was doing cool stuff with the radio and MacGyvering shit happening.
Yeah, for 3 f***ing hours, she's trying to get through that door. Like,
yeah, why
just do
didn't
a
she-
smaller hole.
Well, why didn't she kind of mess with the controls a bit at all
Why
to
didn't
open
they-
the door?
Why didn't they just leave one of the
Yeah.
camera guys outside her door to know that she was welding through
Yeah.
the door and shoot her with a Zat as soon as she popped through?
Yeah, exactly.
But once she got out, I was thinking, I'd really love to be like Samantha Carter Die Hard and just...
Yeah.
That would have been sick, especially for her character, just
Yeah.
kind of like taking him out with booby traps and shit.
I have a good reference there, but it'll get me a That's 3, so I'm just going to skip it. I did
Because
like,
but instead it was like she punched that one dude and then, Jack came and saved the day.
yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, come on.
I did like the nice touch though, where they even thought it's like as she's like cut herself out of that door, she's thrown like the little like cloth
Yeah.
over because it obviously would have been hot. Like in real life, that would have been like hot.
yeah.
So she's thrown that over to not like cut or burn herself on the welding. I'm
Yeah.
like, that's a nice little touch.
But I think she did play around with the door controls, but she took that shit out to put it in the radio to get the radio working.
Oh, yeah, I guess they magnetically sealed it, didn't they? But there is a door
Yeah, yeah.
in that bulkhead door as well.
yeah,
But yeah.
And then she got the radio working, and then Jack's like, yeah, get out of there. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Or
sure.
whoever it was. Yeah, Jack, yeah.
yeah. So well, if I hadn't thought of that,
Yeah, I'll give it a go.
kid.
You say
Oh,
you
yeah.
wanted
Respect
They
to
got a
go.
welding torch, but I've just been sitting there for 8 hours.
Trying to get this radio working
chilling.
to say hello.
You say you wanted a Carter Die Hard episode. They almost had the dialogue there ready made for it, like that
Yeah.
moment where they Simmons goes into Jonas. And he said something about Carter. He's like, Carter tried to play the hero, and now she's dead.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh,
Yeah.
shit, goes back to his desk. And then, the bloke's like, oh, something's gone wrong in whatever room she was in. He's like, it's Carter. Like, even he in his own mind's like, she's
Yeah.
invincible.
He may as well have said it in a German accent.
Yeah.
basically, like,
But then I didn't actually think about it the way you put it before, that like it could have been her episode, and then you have like, oh, Jack shows up and he saves her. And not that I don't think anyone watching thinks Carter's incapable of saving herself, but
No.
that happened. But what I liked that they did do was Jack showed up with Teal'c, shoots that bloke with the Zat, and it would only the scene only went on before they cut to another part of the ship, only went on for another like 7, 8, 9 seconds. They didn't speak to her. Then they come back to those three walking through the halls with the Zat and guns or whatever. No dialogue between any of them. It was like, it wasn't that he showed up and saved her and was like, "Are you okay?" Like, he knows she's okay.
Yeah.
You know, they know they're part of the same team. Next scene where they're just walking through the hallways, no dialogue. They're just there getting a job done.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shit, how
cool.
long is this going to go on for? And it wasn't until that third scene where they just started and obviously they're speaking off camera, but I just like that what we saw was them just getting down to business.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
though they were dealing with some shit they had never done. Like, they've jumped onto alien ships before, but they've never had to re-hijack their own ship from human.
Yeah,
from
Carter
human
would
thieves.
definitely. There was no damsel in distress about
No.
Carter whatsoever.
Yeah,
And
I
if
just
anything-
wanted a few more cool hero moments.
What
from
I
her.
expected was like her reaction though when Jack and Tilt come up behind him was like, "Oh, they're here." I'd be like, "How the f- did you get on this shit?
No,
We're
it's
in
in
space,
space,
you
right?
f***ing idiots.
Yeah.
What the f- happened?"
Did you guys hear our little shout out though?
Yeah, I did.
About 14 minutes in
Oh,
when
absolutely.
Carter
Useless.
jumps on the phone. Sergeant Gibson, what?
I was waiting
Hey, what are you doing there?
to try and mix that through somehow, but it's like, meh.
He's only a sergeant. It's
Yeah.
fine.
He's expendable.
Needs to be at least be a major before we give a shit.
Yeah, there's plenty of us.
Yeah.
Plenty
How
of
good
spare.
was Davis in that limo scene though? When he gets into the limo with the reporter.
Oh, that was yeah.
I was
that
like-
was
That
good.
was so good.
That
Yeah.
would have
spook.
been so easy for him to be like creepy and like
Yeah.
predatory and stuff like that. Davis played that like perfectly.
Yeah.
Like it was just he was professional and calm. He's like, "No, I'm not threatening you." Blah blah blah. blah.
No,
Just
it's a
like,
warning.
Didn't play it shady.
And
like
then
that
he went with what she was leading with.
Yeah. How did you know that? She,
Yeah.
she said something, whatever it was, and
didn't
he's
give
like, "How did you
anything
know
away.
that?"
And
Yeah.
almost acted like what she was giving him was worse than he thought.
Yeah.
Like, even hers was completely off mark. And he's like, "Okay, well, you can't tell anyone that." And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Well done," because now,
Yeah,
she
which
thinks
is, I
she's really
found
onto
that was
something.
weird because he comes back to Hammond and then Carter's like, "Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure she knows more." And even then, he's like, "Well, she can get that. She can get more." It's like, how do you know that? Maybe she's just stretching.
Well,
She's got the trinium.
Yeah, they said
She-
given the fact that she even knows what the word
Well, you
trinium is.
assume that she has it.
And then
She showed it to him.
Yeah,
Showed
but
it
that
to
could have been
Carter.
aluminium.
How does she know the
no,
word
but
trinium?
the point
but-
is the fact that she knows the word. That she
Yeah.
knows the word trinium is enough. And then
Prometheus.
Davis even reinforces it and says, well, it could be anyone from Kinsey to a no-name engineer, like
Yeah.
that worked on the...
Walter.
Yeah. But
on
that's
the
a big
ship.
jump from, okay, someone's telling her information to let her on the ship.
Yeah,
That's the thing for me. It was like,
Tell her
why?
everything just to shut her up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it makes no sense.
tell her everything, but we get to keep the footage.
Yeah. Like they got
Really?
the president to shut the story down.
Yeah.
Walk away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
it.
Who are you trying to keep happy?
Yeah. Makes no sense.
Yeah, I didn't buy it.
I did like Carter's reaction though, how she was when that at the start when the reporter came or the journalist come up to her, and she's just like, no idea what you're
Oh,
talking
yeah,
about.
she's had media training.
Yeah.
Yeah,
oh,
definitely.
yeah.
But yeah, like when Jack did it, when Hammond run that
Yeah.
guy over. But yeah, this one as well.
The
Like,
biggest thing that I took from away from that is that Carter's a Volvo driver. Oh my god!
This is her second
Bloody
Volvo.
Volvo
though.
drivers.
She had a Volvo
Oh,
back
that's
in
right.
Ascension as well. This is just an
V-dub.
updated one.
That's right.
unreal.
Yeah. One thing that I thought was interesting is in that actual the scene in the TV station where they fall for their stupid idea, that actual boardroom, that's the actual like Stargate SG-1 production office. Like that's their office
true.
that they use. Like when an episode
Cheapskates.
is green lit, that's where everyone meets to go through. Okay, props, we need
Oh,
this,
yeah.
this, lighting, we need this, all that kind of stuff. That's their actual room. And I'm like,
It's
that's
everybody's cars in that car park.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, legit.
That's actually that's not even the Samantha Carter's Volvo driver. It's Amanda Tapping's Volvo driver. And speaking of Die Hard, they did the same thing, right? So you look at Die Hard, the Nakatomi Plaza. That was the Fox 20th Century Fox. That was like their headquarters.
Brilliant.
Where they shot the Nakatomi Plaza, or doubled as it. Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's
nice.
using saving money on production costs.
Well, Atlantis ends up commandeering the Blade Trinity set, and they basically just redress that, and that's most of their standing sets.
what, like their home base or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they end up using just all that big where the bad guys lived in Blade Trinity.
Had to de-sex it because it was so sexy. By the vampire hunting was sexy come Blade Trinity.
Sexy.
So we obviously never see Simmons again,
Nope.
Simmons is old. No.
Nope. Around in
and
space.
and we never see him again.
Thank God.
Don't say never.
Well, we never do.
Although we do see that shot again. They repurposed that shot, which I find fun.
You might see Simmons' origins.
Oh Jesus, let's hope not.
So that's the thing.
There was a weird slow-mo in that airlock bar.
Yes, what the was with that?
Yeah.
I actually thought something was wrong with my stream.
Yeah, me too.
When Carter was walking past.
No, when they were getting Simmons out the back,
When they eject him.
it was that whole fight scene was a weird slow-mo, like
Yeah.
0.8 in speed or something.
Yeah.
It was like just off, but fast enough to not. I don't
Jack
know.
was pressing the buttons, and then Tilk like, looks at him. What are you doing? And ejects
I'm like,
old Simmons
tell you
out.
what.
maybe hold Tilk before you hit the button. Because
Yeah.
you press and Tilk's like, he's like, I got you. And I'm like, oh, obviously he's
Yeah.
not opening an airlock because otherwise Tilk will be, oh, he's opening up the airlock.
And that is pretty much the most we ever see Jack do anything technical on the Prometheus.
Yeah, totally.
That's the last time we see him press any buttons
still
or do
reckon-
anything.
Still reckon that plays to his character because it's like he knows so much, but he plays it dumb.
Yeah.
Like you know that
Yeah.
he knows heaps.
So he knows the code to open the airlock
Yeah.
and override the safety protocols and all that kind of stuff to
Yeah.
eject this guy. But yeah,
Yeah, we even come the end where they're like trying to figure out where they are. And they're like, oh, we're so many light years from home. And he's just like, yeah, what is that? And I'm like,
Yeah.
I think you'd have a fair idea after working in the space department for like 6 years. Your job is literally covering distance through space.
Yeah.
You'd probably have
He
a
had a
fair
telescope and knew about black holes and coronosphere and
I thought it was a pretty cool moment too when Simmons comes in and says to Jonas, "Oh, you're our new alien friend," and she's like, "You're an alien?" I'm like, "This is so awesome!"
Yeah.
Like, we knew that secret. Yeah. You didn't.
and she was like, I can't believe I was going to bang that guy.
Yeah. Do you have two penises?
you don't know, so.
Like,
Please have two penises.
Tell you what, though, the actual reveal of the Prometheus was really, really like ruined for the fans really early on. To tell you some more, wheel in the piano, boys.
Oh,
Graham,
I haven't seen you in so
Gather
long.
around the
Socks
fire.
and
It's time
slippers.
for another reading with High Pitch.
Oh god, that fire feels amazing.
Toasty,
after
love it.
So long.
The interior of the Prometheus was designed to resemble the inside of a submarine. We've incorporated low ceilings, confined spaces, and everywhere you look, there's exposed conduits and piping, Maguire says. She's the Bridget Maguire, the production designer. It's a huge vessel, but if you really were on board with a full complement of crew, then it would be pretty claustrophobic. The set for the Prometheus was anything but claustrophobic for the many fans who clambered in and out of the captain's chair and walked in awe along her corridors during GateCon 2002 studio tour.
Oh my god.
Over 100 people duly parked their bottoms, pressed buttons, and stepped on and off the bridge during one of the highlights of the convention.
Take a picture.
Attendees weekend. Alexandra Glebler from Germany said, even though I'm in a wheelchair and this ship definitely wasn't built to accommodate it,
Oh god.
I'm loving having the chance to be where my heroes will be. I can't wait to see the episode. Then I can shout, I've been where O'Neill has been. So before the episode even dropped,
That's what she said.
People were getting tours of the
Wow.
set of Prometheus. I'm like, what a spoiler.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. Thanks, Graham.
Do they have wheelchair access?
Apparently not.
Miss out.
They get in trouble for that these days.
Yeah, god, yeah.
You have to be able-bodied to join the Air Force, apparently.
You'd have to.
Even my little set of like my new place, it's like 7 little townhouses. And we've got some little like communal parking for like visitors and stuff. One of them is a wheelchair access one. You can't get in. All of our apartments are upstairs, but there's a wheelchair access car park. Makes no sense to
Well,
me.
you'd have to be
No
in a
lift.
wheelchair to park in a handicap space.
Wow.
Well, you wouldn't want to challenge the stairs.
Why
would
is there a
you?
drawing of a wheelchair on it then?
Because all handicapped people they're all X-Men.
Or maybe that's what is the X-Men parking. That's the X-Men parking.
I was thinking about that today. I'm like, if comic books have taught me anything, it's that the Paralympics should be called the Super Olympics.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like none of this para shit.
Do you think they're just thinking of X-Men parking? Do you think like Patrick Stewart rolls up and just parks in any disabled spot he wants? And they go, excuse me, so he goes, look, are you going to argue with me?
Yeah.
That's literally a picture of me.
Yeah.
That's me.
He just draws a cross on the wheel.
Look, he's
X.
bald.
Yeah.
I'm bald.
No, he's got the Professor Xavier chair like in the boot of his car. All the time. He just pulls it out.
That's actually his car.
So f***ing Thor rocks up out of nowhere to save the day
Boom.
when his ship comes in. And it's
Yeah.
like 10 times the size of the 303. I'm just like, holy shit.
That's a huge bitch.
That was epic. And then they're having a little talk. And then, Thor reveals that he's in trouble, blah, blah, blah. has the new body, by the way.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to give it a roll. I did.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, it
That's
looks good. Not as good as I thought it was going to be, but
Recognise you without the gem that everyone else has now.
you can just see your veins and you got a bit of a tan. And then to be continued.
Yeah, and this was like, and I hate this terminology, it was their like mid-season break cliffhanger.
Mid-season finale.
Mid-season finale.
You love the term.
That's the phrase I f***ing hate.
Yeah.
So
I hate them.
it took over 3 months to be able to see the next episode.
Really?
To see a natural selection. Watching it on TV back when it aired was the 3-month wait.
Speaking of mid-season finales, if I can just go a little off topic, started watching The Walking Dead again. I stopped watching during their mid-season finale in season 8 or some shit. Finished that. That dragged on. Like, I hated the rest of that season. But at the start of season 9, it was...
Is it going to 9?
It was like old school Walking Dead, man. It was awesome.
That's what I heard.
Whole
Oh,
season.
really?
It was epic, man.
I assume you got the same sort of boost in your package that I did for Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
now you're
Absolutely.
taking advantage.
10 hearts.
Quick, watch everything.
Look at all of these shows. I'm never sleeping.
Sopranos. Yeah.
I got a huge boost in my package.
Yeah.
11 hearts.
No, I tuned out around the time they introduced the tiger. I was like, I'm out.
No,
Yeah.
that was awesome.
Me too, actually.
Yeah.
No, the storylines just got shit.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
dragged on.
Yeah.
I did hear that season 9 started to pick it up again. By that stage, numbers had dwindled because of season 8.
Yeah.
That they've sort of struggled. Yeah.
To the point, there was a holy episode that I had heard nothing about. No one had even said anything
Yeah,
about on
it
social
used to be like
media.
Game of Thrones. It was
Yeah,
just
man.
spoiled
Yeah.
after
A
the
lot of
first
people
time
stopped watching it after that whole Negan introduction with Glenn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't like it.
I didn't mind.
I
It just
like
lost
that.
its way.
That was
It just lost its way. It was just
It
the
just
same
dragged on
shit
for too
over
long.
and
The
over.
guy
To
who
the
played
point-
Abraham made a comment the other week. He said, I think we overdid it by killing 2 characters at once. I'm like, you're only saying that because you were one of those characters.
Yeah, and no one gave a
I
shit
I
about
should have
you.
still been in it getting paid.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, it just started falling flat for me. They just sort of weren't going anywhere. It was just the
Yeah.
same shit over and over. Just point out,
Dragged
even all the actors are starting to bail out. They're just like,
Yeah, right.
The guy who plays Rick's like, I'm out.
Yeah, f*** this shit.
I was the show, but now I'm not even in it. Bye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is going to ruin it from like a storytelling point of view. Like if Rick's not there at the end, what's the point?
Yeah.
Well,
When his
true.
kid's not there either, so it's like, well, what's the point?
he's
Yep.
already... Yeah, spoiler. I won't say it. I mean, not that anyone's going to watch it.
Yeah, I might once it finishes.
I just love all the people this week coming. Oh, seriously, am I the only person that doesn't give a shit about either Game of Thrones or Avengers? Like, am I right? And then everyone else jumping on board. I'm like, what? Okay, are we all going to start tweeting about the shit we don't get? Like,
Not
you,
right, go
You know what I
home.
do? But instead of like tweeting about how I don't give a about the Kardashians, I just don't watch it.
Yeah.
I just
And
don't
don't
leave it
talk about
alone.
it.
Mention them.
Yeah.
I don't tweet about how much I don't listen to
Yeah.
Taylor Swift or any other popular music.
Yeah.
I just don't listen to it. I don't talk about
Okay,
it.
here's an idea. There's 3 people hanging from nooses. They're about to get hung. One of them is a
All of them, kill them.
That'd be probably the answer. One of them is a vegan.
As long as one of them's not me, I don't give a shit.
One of them's a vegan, one of them's a celiac, and one of them's never seen Game of Thrones. I know this because they've all told us that, obviously. But you've got to save one.
That's
Who do
pretty
you
good.
save?
Well,
Who do you save? Like
the
you've got-
person who hasn't seen Game of Thrones, because then they can watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. That's true, I suppose.
You can't leave a vegan to meat, mate.
Yeah, and you definitely can't lead a celiac to like Cheetos. So
No.
yeah, it's not going
Eat
to
a
work.
pizza for God's sake.
Oh, Jesus.
There's a great meme which like a week is like 1 week until Game of Thrones, 1 week until people who don't watch Game of Thrones tell you they don't watch
Yeah.
Game of
Yeah.
Thrones.
That was awesome.
Speaking of Thor, did it get ruined at the start? Like I know we've had it in the past. Like when Shanksy showed up in Abyss, it had at the start and Michael Shanks as Daniel
Yeah.
Jackson. Did
I was
he have a
searching
credit
for
as
it.
Thor? Like I didn't.
No,
see
well,
it, but-
I missed that at the start if it did come up. But yeah, in
Next
Abyss,
week.
yeah, it was those massive letters starring Michael Shanks. But
Yeah.
this one,
As Daniel Jackson.
this one I had to actually rewind the credits because I'm like, oh, who actually voiced Thor? And then it was Michael Shanks. I'm like, oh shit.
So
There you
they
go.
did it in the opening credits, or what does it say?
I didn't notice it.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like prominent.
Because
I
that
suppose it was
really
only the voice too. It wasn't physically appearing.
But that really would have
Doing
blown
VO.
your minds because when you think about what this episode, not the synopsis we read before, which gave you everything, but this is almost 3 different stories wrapped up in one. Like you've got the thing at the start, which is it's a cover up. You know, there's someone who's going to discover the secrets of possibly the Stargate. They think it's something else. They end up talking about the ship, but it's all about, okay, how do we tell them stuff by hiding everything else? And I kind of like that sort of very insular sort of story and the cover-ups and all that sort of stuff. We haven't had one of those for a couple of seasons. And then it becomes about the Adrian Conrad storyline, which I never gave a shit about, let alone now. But all about that. Okay, well, great, we have to sort of sit through this. And then all of a sudden, Thor shows up. So if you read those opening credits when a reporter is asking Carter about state secrets, and then you read in the credits and Michael Shanks is Thor, you're like, where the f*** is this episode going? But then when you watch it, as much as some of it's good, some of it's bad, it does all flow from one story to another. And obviously the Thor thing is only to set up for next week, after the mid-season finale.
To be continued.
Oh, that's right up there with stews.
And
It
we
just
did-
makes my skin crawl.
Anyone that's been listening to the show for a long time, we do usually do two-parters as one podcast, but we decided these episodes, even though Rhys hasn't watched Unnatural Selection yet, Prometheus and Unnatural Selection, while they do have the to be continued with the Thor thing, they're very different episodes, so don't qualify in our very strict Get Into Gate rules.
Well, yeah, I think
as a
there's
two-parter.
enough for us to talk about this as one episode, and then enough for next week to talk about it as a standalone episode.
It's time for the Get Into Geek. Hairy mailbag.
Special.
Weekly. Every episode.
So I was trolling the internet, guys, and just
You're
Trolling.
just been doing trolling Reddit.
Trawling or trolling?
Bit of both.
Why not? Yeah.
And on Reddit, I just typed in Stargate because I follow the Stargate page, and this is from a while back. Commander_Tilk. If you're itching for more Stargate content and you enjoy podcasts, then I strongly recommend Get Into Gate podcast. They're watching an episode a week with a mate who's never seen it, that being Rhys, currently on their 100th.
G'day, guys.
And after listening to 82 episodes so far, it's one of the best. Shawshank's written This Podcast Rules, which I believe that's Shawry, potentially.
Oh, Scott Shaw.
Scotty Shaw.
Essentially, is that just because it's got
Just
Shaw in
making
it?
that up.
Yeah, nice.
And the main reason I wanted to bring this up, which is, I mean, it's great people are talking about us on the internets. Michael Dim1 says, take a shot every time they call a minor character old mate. Like Old Mate Samuels or Old Mate Herraway.
Oh, that's why he's so dim then, because he's taking shots every time we do it. And he's just completely
He's
fucked from
wasted.
alcohol. Yeah,
I feel like
but I enjoyed that.
that's great.
that those numbers would skyrocket when Lincoln's here.
Old mate Lincoln.
Old Mate Link. Look, I remember the first time I heard the Old Mate vernacular was when I was playing footy and we were drinking piss, and there was just this bloke.
I'll
he
stop you
had
there. For overseas listeners, piss is alcohol.
urine.
in Australia?
I was drinking urine. I don't know what you're drinking.
My mistake. Carry on.
Human excrement.
And there was this fat guy, and he had two nicknames. His first name was Wombat because he looked like a fat wombat.
He walked like a wombat.
And his other nickname was Helmet. 'Cause his head looked like a head of a dick, like a helmet.
Right.
Apparently, that's why. So he hated being called Helmet, and I didn't know that, so I was calling him Helmet. He hated it, and for some reason, like just the way he talks, and he's pissed as a maggot. He goes, check out old mate over here, and I just lost it. I don't know why. I'd never heard it before. It was just amazing. So I've used that ever since.
Just to further add on to what we were just saying to our overseas listeners about piss meaning alcohol, a great story from one of my workmates telling me about it being used by what we refer to as bogans, rednecks, whatever you want to call them. He was out at like a restaurant or a pub or something, and he overheard a breakup happening.
Oh.
And so this bloke is breaking up with his girlfriend, and she's just there just crying into her own hands. And he pushes her beer. He goes, come on, drink your piss.
That wastes my money.
To try and make her feel better.
Just drink your piss, you little rat bag.
Get it in there.
I've got a tweet.
Sorry, if I can just go back. Who's Commander_Tilk on Reddit?
I don't know.
If Commander_Tilk, we know you're listening, get in touch with us at Get Into Gate. Tweet us. Let us know. Who are you? What's your real name?
Okay.
Slide into me DMs.
This is a weird little side project.
I just want to say a quick thank you.
Say it here now. It's your chance, mate.
Cheers, Commander_Tilk.
Big time.
I've got a tweet. I've got a Twitter tweet from old Damo Edwards, regular contributor.
Old mate Damo.
Bloody
Yeah.
old mate.
He says, it's a bit of a riddle. What can make having a flat tyre worse? getting out and realising what brand they are. And it's a photo of his tyre, his flat, and a little circle of the brand of tyre. It's a Cooper!
Cooper tyre. No wonder it's flat.
That's great.
And so I said to Damo, I just picture him getting out of the car going, bloody hell, worst thing in the world, flat tyre, looks at it and just screams into the air,
Drops
waving
to
his
his
fist.
Cooper!
And I imagine the camera panning up into the sky as
Absolutely.
he's screaming at the sky. Perfect.
And then it starts to rain.
Oh, shit.
Bugs. It's raining bugs.
Bugs, yeah. Couple of YouTube subscribers here. Actually, just one. Radka Yuziva. That's not right.
Ruzeva?
I was looking at that screen over there. Radka Yusiva.
No,
Where-
We receive you.
Someone commented on our Instagram, guys. We've been putting up little Stargate memes just up on the socials for a bit of fun. Ubergate commented, says, Killjoys. No, seriously. Have you considered trying a more modern sci-fi serial? Killjoys. You're clearly a ringer. Don't know what it means, but thanks for your comment, Ubergate.
Well, there is...
Killjoys is a sci-fi show.
Yeah, but
And
it's
a pommy one.
current running sci-fi show that's not finished yet. So I don't know how we can do a... Yeah, it's still running. It's in like its 5th season.
Right. Did it star Ramsay Bolton from Game of
Yes.
Thrones, I want to say?
Yeah.
No. Not as not one of the main 3. Ghost from Ant-Man and Wasp is the main character.
Oh, the
chick.
image I saw on Netflix had 5 people. I think it was one of
Yeah.
them.
Oh, maybe he's been added later on. But
No, he's in this. Hang on, which one are we talking about here?
Killjoys. First season is just
Is
3
this the
people.
pommy one?
No.
Oh, which one? I think
You're
what's-
thinking Misfits.
Misfits.
Ah, there we go.
No, Killjoys is they're like space bounty hunters, and
Okay.
it's the chick
Yeah.
from Ant-Man and Wasp. It's one of the Iceman brothers, you know, the
Ashmore.
Ashmore brothers. It's one of them, and then the gay guy from Brothers and Sisters.
The gay one.
What Ally McBeal? What's her name? Ally McBeal married to
Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Google it, you asshole!
Callista Flockhart. He married the gay brother in Brothers and Sisters. So yeah, I don't know how we can do a first watch rewatch on a show that's still running.
Mate, we're ringers.
Maybe they're just calling us Killjoys.
Maybe.
Got a recommendation here on Facebook from Tanner Patton. Welcome, Tanner.
Ah, yeah, big shagger.
Tan Dog. The Pat.
The Pato, 151.
Hilarious group of guys talking about my favourite TV show. Good insight, great banter, and fun to listen to while driving or running errands. If you enjoy Stargate SG-1, this podcast is a must.
Oh, that was some good radio voice Rhys just gave us then. That was his work
Yeah.
voice.
So,
Right
yeah, that's
You
what
blew my ring out.
done.
actually, Brendan was talking to me the other day. He said he was listening to the radio with his family and heard me on the radio, and Brendan's wife, Badana, said, that's not Rhys, even though I said my name. And I said to Brendan, yeah, people say that a lot. They don't recognise me on the radio. And I realised it's because I have to actually put effort into talking when
Yeah.
I'm on the radio.
Yeah.
Whereas when I'm not, I'm just so lazy.
You're
It's
like,
sound
you're
ridiculous.
like
like me on this
interested in what you
podcast.
Yeah,
Generally.
in real life, I talk like Brendan does on this podcast. Thanks, Tanner. Sergeant Pat. No, what is it?
I don't know.
Sergeant.
Sergeant Patton.
Sergeant Patton.
No,
General.
Sergeant
General
Tanner.
Patton. I don't know. I'm Australian.
Matt Morissette hit us up. Morning, you big honking Aussies. Just watched Allegiance and couldn't help but be reminded of my trip home from Jamaica.
Yeah, man.
Oh, you're making me crazy.
I had to sit through a total of 3.5 hours of customs and TSA just to get back to the US, and I'm a goddamn citizen. Yet Toker can just run straight through the gate to the Alpha site, chow room without taking their shoes off. The hell? No wonder why they have so many security issues in this show. Just wondering if you guys have also had any airport travel stories as well. Keep up the great work. Tech my tech.
So
God, yeah.
true. No security coming through that.
Well, there was a Jafar, and he's just backhanded him. Don't touch my shit. It's
Well,
like, I'm customs, bro.
They don't need to worry about diseases because they've all got symbiotes, so they're not going to catch any diseases.
No.
True.
Yeah, but they could be
Weapons of
bringing
mass
they
destruction.
could be bringing vegetables in with bugs in them,
Yeah. Or Ashtrax.
or ashtracks in with them. You never know.
I got done once. It's the only time I've been overseas. I went to New York. I don't know if I've told you guys this story or not, but we came to New York, and we're going through customs, and you have that little. This is about 10 years ago. That little like light up pad that you got to put your thumb on, and it kind of scans your thumbprint or whatever.
Right.
So I put my little thumb on it, and a little red light's gone up, and they've taken my passport and all my gear, put it in a red folder, and handed it to one of the like armed dudes with the guns, and took me off into a back room. And I've gone.
Is this in America?
shit.
Yeah, this is like in like JFK
Took your
Airport or
passport.
whatever. Yeah, because it's like when you're in customs, so you're handing over like you're going
Right.
through your stuff.
Yeah.
And I thought, because, you know, we've said it on here 1,000 times, my dad's American. I'm like, oh, God, I've been red flagged. My dad's done something. What's my name attached to? Oh, God. So I go into this back room that looks like, you know, the set of Judge Judy, but there's like 5, you know, judges sitting up there. This is like 2006, 2007, maybe.
Jesus.
It's full of like Middle Eastern people in hijabs and sarapes and like kind of
racist,
stuff.
Maddie.
Well, no, but that's the thing, is there's all these...
I'm not wearing one, for sake.
Can't you see how white I am?
I go in there.
Why am
and
I
there's-
here?
And they're calling, okay, Mohammed, you're next. And then there's these women in the corner crying and all that kind of stuff. It was
Jesus.
full on.
Jesus.
Meanwhile, my friend who I was traveling with had no idea. She's just gone on like, she's like, do I go and get his luggage? Like, should I? And so she's just sitting out with my luggage. I was in there for a full, I reckon, like half hour just waiting until they finally call me up. I walk up to the Judge Judy counter thing and ask me a few questions, blah, 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 blah. Okay, you're good to go. Stamp, and push me through. And I went, what just happened? What was all that for? Apparently, when I put my thumb down, it smudged a little bit. My thumb just kind of went a little bit off center.
Oh, what?
So instead of just getting me to repress it,
You wanna
and
do that again?
apparently that holds up the line, they left me in this room for bloody half an hour to sweat.
That'll
over
teach you for moving your
nothing.
thumb while it's getting
How
printed.
dare I?
Like, you got to wipe the sweat off so it's not slippery,
Yeah.
and then stick it on.
I forgot to wipe the cocaine off. That's what it was. Of course.
Sadly, I don't have any like fun stories like that. Mine was almost the complete opposite of that. I went to New York at the end of last year, but obviously you have to stop in LA. But that's where all your main customs get done. Because once you get to LA, where you're going to catch a domestic flight, you get a connecting flight. We had to go though and get all of our shit, all of our luggage, and then take it back out to, you know, check in and throw it all on again, and then go through and get the body scan and the metal detector and all that sort of shit all over again. Big waste of time, but you have to get it done. But still, we had to essentially go through customs. We're coming from another country, and we had all of our shit. There was myself, my wife, our 3 kids, and my in-laws. And because even though we were technically getting on the same plane, but it's technically the same flight, we still had very little time to be able to collect our luggage, rush out, get back in just to get onto the same plane, which seems ridiculous. But we were waiting around because it was the oversized, because we had like kids, prams and stuff like that. So
yep.
we were waiting and waiting and waiting. We finally,
breeders.
Yeah, breeders, mate, don't do it. We had all our gear, and then we're just like, run, and we saw the exit, and we are just running through. And we just must have looked like the McAllisters at the start of Home Alone, because American customs in Trump's America, us foreigners, this guy saw us running and was like, oh, yeah, you're right, and just let us run through.
Wow.
And we had stacks of luggage. Like, there was 7 of us.
We had stacks of contraband.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
If only. Holy crap.
We had so many boiled eggs.
But I thought they were going to be... Like, someone bigger and worse was going to stick me in a room somewhere, because they're like, oh, we'll let these guys go through and think that they've gotten away with it. But no, we didn't get checked for nothing. And then we get up there, and because we're in a rush, this guy goes, oh, just chuck him on the belt. So we chucked all the luggage. He's like, I'll do it. And I'm like, well, you're a bit sketchy. I don't know who you are. But I watched him. He threw it all back on without a care in the world. And I'm like, you guys have no idea what's in there.
Wow.
I mean, nappies and shit, but still,
so
you don't know
much
that.
drugs.
Yes.
So much talcum powder.
The next time I'm going, oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, well, maybe.
Talcum powder laced with speed.
So back to SG-1, we are now the most advanced humans in the galaxy. Thanks to the Prometheus. As far as we're aware, anyway.
We always were, weren't we?
No, Tolan.
Well, they're dead.
That's what I'm saying. They're dead, so we rule.
Well, you could have said that when the Tolan died.
No, because we didn't have a ship. Now we have a ship.
Yeah, but we're still the most advanced.
No, now we are.
Why?
Because we have a ship.
Even prior to the ship.
You said it already.
As soon as the Tolan died, prior to the ship.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you just don't want to be wrong, mate.
No, there would have
I
been
know the
some
feeling.
slaves who had a fucking ship there, cargo ship. Sure of it.
Cool.
Rocking about.
I suppose the other side people are all dead as well. Oh no, the good people, the breeder side of the other side might be more advanced than we are.
They died though, didn't they?
No, the bad guys did, but they were killed by the good guys
Oh,
that we never met.
But do they have ships?
Well, yeah. Remember, because
Do they have the Prometheus?
They have VR ships.
Yeah, they're VR ships. They're like the bloody.
doesn't count.
They're like those gold. They're like those gold people from Guardians of the
We
Galaxy.
can shoot them from orbit now.
We've got drones.
Yeah. F them.
It's time to find out if Rhys been paying attention.
Get this up. Your 5 questions on the clock.
Yeah.
you.
5 questions on the clock. 30 seconds
I
on
say
the
that
board.
quite often. Time starts after this one. 5 questions, 30 seconds for Rhys, the newbie. Bit of trivia for
All
you.
right.
Question 1. Which country's mythology does Prometheus come from?
Country.
Yep.
Pass.
Using sublight engines, the Prometheus can travel at half the speed of what?
Light.
Correct. According to Carter, how fast can it travel in miles per second?
Pass.
Come on. What element is the Prometheus hyperdrive powered by?
Nequadria.
Correct. What did the journalist originally think the Prometheus project was about?
It was reactor.
You've run out of time.
Reactor shit.
There,
Was
so
it Greece the
It was
first one?
Greek mythology.
Greek mythology.
That's right. You missed out on that. You got the half the speed of light. That was correct. Carter said that the Prometheus at sublight engines can run at 110,000 miles per second.
Oh,
And the
how
journalist...
memorable.
It was pretty great. Actually, I jumped onto conversion.com if anyone's interested.
Nah.
It's actually
We're not.
177,027 kilometres per second, which is great information. And the fusion reactor was what we were after with the journo.
I love how you went to conversion.com and didn't think you could convert it into something we know, like kilometres per hour. You still kept it in kilometres per second.
Well, I mean, it's going to be a lot.
Times that by 60, man.
It's all
Times
relative,
that
mate.
by 60, then times that by 60.
Yeah, I'm glad you converted it from meters,
1.7 million kilometres an hour.
from meters per second into kilometres per second. So basically, you move the decimal point 3 spaces
Yeah.
rather than convert it into a unit of
Go to
distance.
conversion.com
measurement that
and it's fucking fast.
Kilometres.
that.
We know kilometres.
we know. Yeah, not kilometres per second.
We know
Why not?
meters.
That's not my fault. You
know
don't know that.
kilometres per
That is
hour.
not my fault that you don't know that.
I know kilometres per second, not meters per
Yeah,
second.
big time. If you're a fan of physics like I am.
Like divided by
Did a bit of
1,000,
maths
mate.
C in my time.
Yeah.
Not.
Maths C? Oh, dumb maths.
Oh, we walked
maths
past
A,
the class
mate.
one time.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Butler. Oi, what are you doing in there? I thought you were a dumb shit. Turns out he's an engineer. Oh, me drunk.
Jesus. What do you go to religious school for?
Butler.
Rhys, your father made you wrong!
You stupid son of a bitch.
Probably a collective 3 people that listen to this podcast, including us 3, will get that reference.
I sure as hell didn't.
No, you
No,
didn't.
you
mate.
wouldn't.
That's a bit of Carmel chat, mate. You wish
Yeah,
you
Carmel
had.
boys.
I love it.
Yeah.
When I love it when you guys talk about
Yeah,
school.
Team Grogan.
That is episode 122 of Get Into Gate. We will be back next week to talk kind of part 2, but kind of not. Unnatural Selection, episode 12 of season 6 of Stargate SG1. In the meantime, check out all of our old episodes, plus specials. Get Into Gate, a Stargate podcast. Just search it on your favourite podcasting channels. Hit us up on the socials, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Again, search Get Into Gate, a Stargate podcast, or drop us a line, getintogate@gmail.com.
Also,
What else you want to
if
do?
you don't want to end up like Prometheus, jump on to
good one.
Patreon.com/.
Well done.
It's Greek tragedy.
I think he was-
Get Into Gate.
I think he was the type that ended up like chained to the big rock with like the bird eating his pancreas or his liver every day.
Oh, that
or
sounds so
something.
sexy.
Yeah, some people pay for that, like
Yeah.
good money for that.
Oh, I have.
Yes, that's how you know.
I'm on my 3rd pancreas.
Give me the Prometheus, please.
I want the Prometheus package,
Give me
please.
the full Prometheus.
Otherwise, individually, I'm Mitch_Lewis on Twitter and Instagram. Matty, where you at?
At Reverse Ultron, my Prometheus. How do I pitch Matty?
Brendan
I'm at the Bren Gibson.
and Rhys.
At the Flying Gibson.
Catch you back next week for Unnatural Selection.
Dun, dun, dun.
Get Into Geek.